pornos, something like that. You see
Yeah.
some threesomes going down. You see, and I'm not talking about just the generic ones. It look like, where the female, is definitely more into one individual, but she's willing to go ahead and do whatever with the other individual if that's what's making her partner happy. So that's where that derived from in the spur of the moment, one of those type of things, freaky night, motherfucker drinking too much, doing whatever too much. Thinking like, damn, damn, if you know your woman, then you know what she like as far as, different type of guys and shit like that. If you see the motherfucker was like that, maybe, would you like to fuck him tonight and shit? And y'all both tipsy, and what she said, well, y'all in an exotic place, ain't nobody gonna know except you and her. That's what it comes down to. But you end up resenting her later for you even bringing that shit on and her being down with it.
Yeah. Amen. 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 Okay. So
So that's, yeah.
let me throw a couple other questions at you. Have you ever dated an entertainer, like a stripper, a dancer?
Yes.
What were some of the challenges in that relationship?
I mean, just the fact of being selfish the way that we are, you don't know when it's between, is she really enjoying it on a personal level, or is she just enjoying her job like, most of us enjoy our job just to be making money? Is there any emotional attachment to the enjoyment?
We talking about you with her or her to her career? The
Her to
attachment.
her career. Her to her career, or even on the, if it's an individual that's stripping or something like that, then, is she enjoying this individual who, is she liking this individual who seems to be tricking off the money to her, not just because the money that he's tricking off to her, but, damn, I find that motherfucking appealing.
Oh, that's an interesting point. And Tiffany in the chat room, weigh in on that one too. Honorable Deacon, what if the woman is into the dude who's tipping her and falls for the dude who's tipping her?
So basically, she's falling for the money.
Mm. She's falling for the money. Now,
To each
falling
their
for
own,
the
though. I
money,
mean,
falling for the money, there's not necessarily anything wrong with falling for the money because that's her job.
no.
Right. But
But if
what if,
she's
you got same dude that you done see trick off more money than that to her, and she wasn't all into her dance the same way she all into her this dance that she doing for this dude, and you already know that this is, maybe kind of her style of type dude anyway.
Yeah.
Gotta have game like Jesus and Hercules, though.
That's gonna bring some problems on, because you can't, that's a discussion. Like, okay, I seen Fatso drop off a whole bunch of money last week. Matter of fact, even more, and you did less.
Mm.
So why'd you do more? For less
Yeah.
money to do,
And that's a good point. I think I've told the story on the show before that I used to go into the strip club in Columbus, Georgia years ago. And then back then Columbus had a policy that the dancers could not be bottomless. They had to keep their bottoms on. But there
Mm-hmm.
was this chick there who me and her were cool. We were just like I said earlier before, never intimate, but we were just cool. And she knew that I liked pole work. I love good ass pole work. So when I would walk through the door, when I was in town, I would walk through the door. If she was on stage or on her shift, first of all, check this shit out. Them motherfuckers used to be perched up in the ceiling. This is like 3 or 4 dancers perched up on the ceiling watching the shit from the ceiling. When she saw me
Right.
walk through, when she saw me walk through, she would hit that pole and come down that pole and do her shit. But when first thing she would do, let me go back. First thing she would do when she saw me come through the door is she would take her bottoms off. She would get totally nude. And she knew that she was going to get fined, but she said she didn't give a fuck. You know, she knew she was going to get fined by the
Right.
club, but she didn't give a fuck. She was just showing me love because she knew that's what I like.
hmm
Yep.
Now, if she was in a relationship, wouldn't she have to explain that to her significant other? Like, okay,
Ah,
yeah, I
yeah.
know I'm gonna get fined.
Yeah.
And would you like to be that significant other to hear her excuse for, well, yeah, fuck it, I sucked it up. I sucked up that fire because me and that nigga just cool as fuck. But I don't do nothing with him. And I never will. Because I love you.
Yeah. Diamond just weighed in. Diamond is listening, but she says she's in the store right now, so she can't call in. And I'm trying to get clarification on her answer. I was asking her about when a dancer falls in love with the dude behind the money, and she says that that's not love. Y'all help me as I'm interpreting this. She says that's not love. She said the tipper is gonna eventually peep game and leave your ass broke the same way he met you. So basically he's saying that the dancer's gonna get played. The dancer so he's just gonna fuck her. Y'all
That's how
follow
he
me
And
on
makes
that's
that?
the
the
money.
motivation.
Huh?
That's the motivation.
So the Honorable Deacon, you following on this?
Yeah, yeah.
So what she's saying is the dude that pops the money, unless he's a fucking buster, the dude who's flashing the money and then peeps that the dancer is giving in to him and not focusing on her job. Eventually, that dude's gonna get his money back, fuck the shit out of her, and leave her ass broke. So
Well,
she's
parts of
saying as
that
a
I can agree
dancer,
with.
so she's saying as a dancer, the dancer just got to stay on her money, stay by her money.
Right.
I think,
That's that,
personally, in my humble opinion, I believe that any guy that would, average, say average Joe per se, not a baller, not an entertainer, whatever, who just has like for real money to waste. Um, the average Joe who is dropping some kind of major loot on a chick at a strip joint is pretty much wanting that chick to be with him anyway, and thinking that his money would lure her away from her profession and basically be his entertainment for life, personal. Like, you don't need to do this anymore because I can take care of you. I think that's mental context that a lot of people look at, you know, women who strip anyway. It's like they just stripping because they need some money. Well, if I'm dropping, cash on you and shit, basically I'm trying to show you that I can take care of you.
Have you ever, have you ever, have you ever met a girl you were trying to? Have you ever seen a stripper at some point in a club and felt, damn, I want to rescue this chick. I want to take her out the club.
In my younger years, yes.
Honorable Deacon, have you ever wanted to pull one out of the club?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I think there were a couple also. So what happens? What happened to that situation? What happened? And I would say for me, they didn't have the mentality. They didn't have the mentality to go to the next level. Either there was
That's
a glitch where they weren't ready to elevate themselves out of the club mentality, or they didn't realize what they had as far as a skill set that could make them money outside the club.
I could agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, it only takes maybe 10 minutes of conversation to really find out who you're dealing with and where they really coming from. You know, I remember my days of going to Club Mickey's, you know, back in the day down in Atlanta. And, of course, you know, it was Magic City been going on since back then. I'm talking about the early 80s. And, of course, you know, the chicks at Club Mickey's was pretty much college chicks. But you could see some of them just losing their way, even though they were, you know, still saying they in school and all that. And you could tell. But, yeah, you know, you should have an even good conversation, man. You get to know one, get to talk to her, you know. Cell phones wasn't prevalent back then, so you go back in 6 months, a year, whatever, and see her again, and, you know, she full-blown stripping still. It's like, damn, you know. Thought we had a good-ass conversation. You know, you said you had a plan.
A good ass conversation.
Mhm. Thought you had a plan and it wasn't gonna be, you know, still you did perfected this art now, and you know, so
Did she
yeah,
dis-
maybe
she
it's
so she
all about the
disappointed you?
money.
So she disappointed you, Mercury?
Shit, you know, that's part of growing up, and that's part of growing up as a man. Yeah, you know, you have to get your mental faculties about you. Otherwise, the brother could have been a sucker.
Okay, so Diamond says that she's okay, so she's participating via chat. Like she says, she can't talk right now. She says that it never works out. She says dancers get with guys for money, but eventually the guy catches on to it. And then I asked her, do dancers really want to be rescued from the club? She says, hell yeah, they want to be rescued.
Yeah, that's kind of an oxymoron that she's throwing out there.
Huh?
I said, I feel like that's a kind of an oxymoron that she's throwing out there.
Okay, how so?
I mean, you know, if a dancer really wanted to be rescued from a club, and she meets somebody that the conversation is good, and they count, you know, and they talking about what they want to do in life, and then later it's just not happening that way, and she's still doing what she's doing, you know, and making good money at it or whatever. She, you know, one would have to say that, you know, is the money more than your pursuit of where you want to be in life.
I think that and Honorable Deacon, you weigh in. I think that it's a situation where they realize that the dude's money isn't long enough to rescue him.
And when you say rescue, what type of lifestyle you really trying to live? Or you being rational?
You know, if a dude's flashing, G's, thousands in the club, I would think that he's got to flash that for a long period of time for her to even think that there's something behind it. Then she's got to be digging him. And then when she sees his lifestyle away from that, what if he can't sustain it?
Right. Well, I mean,